now too.
Oh, this angle is not the best.
Flattering, not flattering.
I mean, it looks good, but it's like really... Let me open my... I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Okay.
Prop it up.
Oh, that might be better. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit better.
Do you want to light on? It's going to get dark.
He's asking me a million questions. Where are you, people? Am I live in the right place? Say hi to me as you guys get on here. I'm fucking irritated. I have shit to say. This is like the third day in a row that I've had shit to say. While my family goes to the arts festival, I'm going to talk to you guys. Okay, so let me just preface this with my ... My kids are homeschooled, okay? I don't know if you guys know this, but my kids are homeschooled. My 9-year-old has been homeschooled his entire life. My 12-year-old... Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Nikki. My 12-year-old has been homeschooled since he was in first grade. Oh, I'm saying it. It's coming right freaking now. So one of the things that has been really, really hard for us since we moved back home. So let me also preface this with saying we started this whole journey in Florida. So we lived in Florida for 7 years. When we moved to Florida, we had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So at that time, there really wasn't any school. There was like preschool and all of that. And then after that is when they started becoming homeschooled and stuff. And since our kids were little, they've always been in sports. They've hung out with like neighbor kids. We've been on cruises. They've hung out with the kids on the cruise ship, at the parks. I used to be one of those moms that would go on mommy play dates. Yeah, that wasn't for me, but that's a whole other story. I used to do that kind of stuff. And so these kids had a really good social life. But for whatever fucking reason, since we moved from Florida to Utah, there's been this like big stigma around our household. We lived in Utah now for about a little over a year and a few months. Okay. There's this stigma that, because our children are homeschooled, they're socially awkward. And so like this has nothing to do with business, just so you guys know. And it really fucking pisses me off because my kids are awesome in their own right, in their own personalities, in their own everything. And they're not socially awkward because I'm their mom. Okay. So I want to say that I don't feel like I'm their mom and my kids are perfect. I'll be the first to tell you if my kid's an asshole. I'll be the first to tell you if he's a dick. I'll be the first to like put them in their place. I'm not going to stick up for my children or be that way if they're like wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's not right. But one of my biggest frustrations is this like whole stigma around my children being socially awkward because they're in homeschool. So this happened because my son came to me today. Well, he got in trouble, and it's because we won't let him have a girlfriend. He's 12 years old and he believes he should be able to have a girlfriend. Do any of you guys have 12-year-olds? Do any of your 12-year-olds think they should have girlfriends? Somebody tell me that it's normal for a 12-year-old to want a girlfriend and to have it be a big freaking deal. Okay. Yeah, this socially awkward bullshit has got to fucking go. It's literally the stigma around homeschooling. So anyways, he has this big thing about all the other kids have girlfriends. He should be able to have a girlfriend too. He hates the fact that he doesn't get to have a girlfriend, and he hates the rules of our household. And then it went into this whole big fucking conversation about our life and the way that we live and blah, 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 all of this shit. And I'll have you, our children are very blessed. Okay, we go on lots of vacations. They get pretty much whatever the fuck they want. Okay, so when he talks about our household, thank you guys. So when he talks about our household, it freaking makes me nuts because he has a lot more freedom. As a homeschool child, when school is in, he goes to school from 11 to 3:30. 3 days a week. Yeah, it is just a title, but it's extremely important at 12, I guess. He goes to school 3 days a week, and the fourth day is their makeup day, generally, anything that they miss. So they never have homework. They start school in October. They're done with school in May. My 9-year-old starts school in October, but he's always done with school in March or April. So he gets done a lot faster through his curriculum. We buy a really good curriculum. It's sonlight.com, sonlight.com. That's the curriculum we use. It's a Christian-based curriculum. Everything's laid out. All of this fucking amazingness. But the thing is it's like, with a black person, you've got to be worried, like, let's say a woman, okay? So the stigma of a black woman is that she is a bitch and she's really loud and that she's maybe more annoying and more boisterous, right? And usually you've got a black man and the stigma is that this man is like ghetto and he sells drugs and he beats women and then so you have like all of these it's Sunlight. We use the Sunlight curriculum for the age group that we're in. So sonlight.com is where we buy our curriculums. We don't make up our own shit. So you have like the stigmas, and we can go all across races. We can go across religions. We can go across the whole way. And my whole point in this video, and I hope that you guys will share this and get this out there. I hope I made it public. I didn't, but I'm going to right now. It's public. Please share it. With this video is to tell every fucking one of you that believes that homeschooled children are socially awkward to shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about. That's my whole point of this video. It pisses me off. Listen, my buddy has a little girl who is really fucking shy. If you ask her, she has one friend. Who does she play with outside of school? Her mom. She goes to public school. Does that make her socially awkward? I even had a conversation with him about this. I don't believe that makes her socially awkward. That makes her fucking shy. But because she goes to public school, she could be shy. But if she was homeschooled, everybody and their fucking dog would say she was socially awkward. And I find that fucking bullshit. Where you go to school, where you get your education, it's just like saying somebody who doesn't complete high school or somebody who only has an elementary learning level can never go on to be a million or a billionaire. What is with these fucking titles that are goddamn bullshit? And it's not just about my kids. It's just the literal stigma around homeschooled children. That's always the first fucking question we are asked. Oh, aren't you worried about your kids being socially awkward? Fuck no, my kids are always at the lake, they're always in sports, and then that's the next question we get asked. How do they get into sports if they don't go to school? You fucking dumbass. The sports is the recreational put on by the city. What the fuck do you mean, how do they get in sports if they don't go to school? Do you go to your school's website to register your fucking kids for sports? Or do you go to your city's website? Or do you go to your city's fucking group? I mean, I'm sure there's places where the sports are sanctioned by the schools, but 99% of the time, sports are put on by the community, right? It fucking pisses me off. So that's usually the next question I get asked. I'm down to answer any questions about actually homeschooling, even though I'm not their teacher because I would make them hate life and school. My husband is. I'm down to answer any questions. He's down to answer any questions, but I hate the dumbass ignorant questions. Like, oh, you sunburn? Because I'm black. Like, that's an ignorant question. Actually, I can handle all of, like, the racial type questions, but they don't even make me mad. But what makes me more mad is the homeschooling questions about the dumbass bullshit that is asked. And you know what? It's happening from adults. So this is the other thing. So you guys might be thinking, man, she's really fucking pissed right now. But what if these are kids that are asking these questions? Oh, no. It's not kids that are planting these things in my kids' minds. It's fucking adults. Okay, they're saying things like, you're socially awkward, you should be in public school. If you don't do something, you're going to always be socially awkward. Or things like, oh, so what do you think? Are you guys going to go to public school? Are you going to go to private school? Or do you think you're going to stay homeschooled next year? My 12-year-old says we're staying homeschooled because I cannot convince my mom to put us in public school. And she goes, oh, well, you'd probably meet more people if you were in public school. Okay, listen, it makes my fucking eye twitch. Can you see my eye twitching? I fucking feel like shit today, and I'm so pissed my heart's racing like 1,000,000 miles per hour. So I said to my son, let's just paint this picture of meeting more people in public school. Let's just run with this fucking bullshit, right? Let's just go all the way. Okay? Let's do it. So you go to school. It's your first month of school. You meet all of these people. Okay? So those people that you go to school with, you decide you're going to do football, you're going to do basketball, you're going to do baseball, you're going to do soccer. Lo and behold, those same motherfuckers are on your team. This is how I talk to my kids, by the way. He laughs, right? Oh, and it doesn't stop there. When you go to the fucking park, guess who's at the park? The same motherfuckers you go to school with. Oh, let's keep going. You want to go to the skate park? You want to go to the swimming pool? I bet you if you go to the motherfucking movies, those people are there too. So I don't really know how you're going to meet new people when you go to school with the people in your community and you fucking play sports with the people in your community and you go to the fucking park and the fucking pool and everywhere else with the people in your community. I'm not quite sure how many new people you're going to meet. And he sat there for a second. He was like, I never thought of that. I told my kid, grow some fucking balls. And he looked at me like this. I said, you need to start sticking up for your life. You need to start sticking up for yourself. You need to start sticking up for what I sacrificed pretty much your whole fucking life to build. This life that you live, I have sacrificed so fucking much for it, and it pisses me off when you come to me with this bullshit from these adults that can't pull their head out of their ass. You need to fight for yourself. And if you can't handle it or you don't want to be disrespectful, walk the fuck away. You don't have to have a conversation about your life. There's a stay-at-home mom with a dad killing himself on the other end. We're not sitting there making our kids ask fucked up questions like, don't you think it would be better if he was a stay-at-home dad and homeschooled the kids and maybe you worked harder and ran your own business? I'm sure that bitch would never let my fucking kid come back to their house again. Right? Ever again. But that's basically what they're saying to my child when they say, you think your mom's going to let you go to public school? Fuck no. You want to know why? Because the reason why they're homeschooled is so I can go on vacation whenever the fuck I want. And nobody can say, your kid missed too much school, turned me into the fucking cops because my kids are gone, all this fucking bullshit. Nope. We can take your schoolwork with us when we go, or we can front load and back load and have a week vacation whenever the fuck we want. I take 9 days off every month. Whether it's school year time or summer, it's always 9 days off. So my kids are off. They come, they hang out, they do whatever. My kids make best friends on cruise ships. Like, how much new people can you really meet in your community? My kids meet more people from all over the world in the life that we have compared to most children. But that doesn't mean the kids that parents can afford for them to go on vacation all the time and meet people are fucked up. I don't ever look at their life and be like, well, if they would just make more money and start a fucking business, then their kid would be more diverse. I don't feel that way. I don't judge that way. I don't ever think that. I don't think kids who are in public school are all fucked up in the head and they're going to turn out to like shoot up public places. I don't have no stigma about kids in public school. I don't have my kids in homeschool because public school's horrible. Although every fucking teacher I talk to tells me to never put my kids in public school nowadays. It's kind of crazy how that works, right? So why am I fucking pissed? Because I'm sick and goddamn tired of being asked if my kids are socially awkward. I'm sick and goddamn tired of my kids being confronted about social awkwardness. My one child, my 12-year-old, acts a little bit older for his age. But I was a lot like that. He's doing things that I feel like are advanced for how old he is. Hello. Yeah, see, Heather? That's what I'm saying. When we move to a new area, my kids run around, knock on the doors, and find out what kids live in the area. Well, how the fuck else are they going to make friends if they're not in public school, right? Both of my children have started businesses doing things in the neighborhood. They have to actually talk to adults, mind you, in order to get money, in order to get the jobs. My 12-year-old was actually over working for a man for 3 hours today. And I asked him, how much did you get paid? $24. I got paid minimum wage, he said. I was like, so like $7 an hour? He goes, no, Mom, 3 times 8 is 24. I worked for 3 hours. Okay, first of all, don't be a smartass. And that's cool. Does he have more work for you? Do you know how he got that job? By putting on a fucking collared shirt, doing his hair, and knocking on doors, asking people if they had any odd jobs that he could do to make money. I'm sorry. When was the last time that was socially awkward? I don't fucking stand. My 9-year-old. I've been told he's the one that I need to worry about. He's the one that I need to watch because he never really wants to do anything. He never really wants to hang out with anybody. You know what? He's just particular. He reminds me of his father that I met underneath a tree when I was 13 years old. And my husband is still like this today. But really, really strongly, my husband was this type of kid that when you played with him, you must play with him his way. He must feel like it is fun, it's designed his way, and if he didn't like it, he would leave. He would go home and he'd be fucking pissed, right? He didn't really want to go and hang out, and if he did, he only wanted to do it with the people he wanted to do it with. Don't get me wrong. I push my 9-year-old all the time. I told him today, you need to contact the kids' parents, meet new people, make new friends. He goes to the skate park, he goes to the pool, he's in sports, he does all of those things, but he likes the people he likes, and he's cool with that, right? That's just his personality. So he's my socially awkward child. No, he's not my socially awkward child. He's just an asshole. He likes things the way he likes them. He likes the people that he likes and really fuck everybody else. Just reminds me of me, right? So I feel like they're fine, right? I am fucking pissed, and that's why I'm doing this live. I'm fucking pissed because when he brought this to me, I thought it was kids, right? So I was like, tell me something. Is this coming from kids or adults? And he goes, both. I don't give a fuck about the kids, right? Kids are going to be kids. They're going to talk shit. They're going to find something about you. And they're just going to pick and pick and pick and pick and pick and pick and pick on those things to make you feel like shit. That is just what kids fucking do, right? That's fine. But when he said adults, I was like, how the fuck does this conversation go? You're over there to hang out with their kids, and what do? Corner you? And I get it. Maybe they don't corner them. They're like, oh, so what do your parents do for a living? Where do you go to school? Because where we live, there's like 3 elementary schools and 2 charter schools and then a fucking private school that's 15 minutes away. You know, and it's like, as soon as he answers the question of homeschool, it becomes this whole like odd and awkward and weird thing. And before he was a homeschooled kid, was he normal in your eyes? Or what? Or was he still awkward before you found out he was a homeschooled child? Like, if you watch my kids and like their team settings, like on sports and stuff, you don't know who's homeschooled and who's not. I sure the fuck can't tell. I don't know. And it's more popular for there to be homeschooled kids where we live. And I don't fucking know who's homeschooled and who's not. That's not something that you know, because in my opinion, a person will act the way they're going to act because that's the way that they act, period. It has to do with personality types and astrological signs and all of that kind of stuff, in my mind, not whether or not they're homeschooled or they're in public school. You have more of a problem with addicted parents to drugs and alcohol and how those kids turn out than you ever do whether they're homeschooled or public schooled. I just can't figure out why the fuck this is news. You know, like when you watch the news and there's something really stupid on it and you're like, why the fuck is this news? That's how I feel about this. We're really concerned about these children whose parents are home with them, and mom is working hard to build an empire and instill badassery in her children and help them live up to their fullest potential and make them think bigger and be bolder and take responsibility for their life. And dad is showing them that you can be loving and nurturing and take care of your wife and keep the house in order and homeschool your children and be there for you when you need them. And our life is all fucking fucked up. But somebody who is an alcoholic or works all the fucking time and is not around at all because they're working to pay for the lifestyle everybody at home has, there's nothing wrong with that. I call fucking bullshit. Why is it that the way my house is set up, there's something wrong, but there's nothing wrong with that? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with either of it. If a dad has to work his ass off so his wife can be a stay-at-home mom and take care of the kids, and that's the life that they've designed, fine. If both parents have to work in order to provide a living, that's fucking fine. But that's because that's how they choose their life. I'm never going to have a conversation with their kids like, oh, so your dad's never home? Do you think he's gonna switch jobs? Oh, your mom's a single mom? Is she like never around because she's always working? Does she like let you get away with murder because she struggles to balance being your mom and dad? Like, who the fuck's gonna have that conversation with somebody else's kids? Just let your mom know if she needs any help, I'm here. That's what a fucking smart person says, right? I digress. If you're the fucking asshole that thinks that homeschool kids are socially awkward, please unfriend me. I just don't want to hear anything you have to fucking say. And I just want to be done with you. If you know somebody who thinks that homeschool kids are socially awkward, set their ass fucking straight. Socially awkward kids are socially awkward because they're socially awkward, not because they're fucking homeschooled. Right? I just feel like the world needs to stop being such fucking idiots. But you wouldn't believe it, Holly. It's like, all walks of life. We've traveled so much in the last 3 years. We've met people on cruise ships and islands in Mexico and all over the fucking place. And it's always the same. It's not just a certain demographic and certain type of people. The conversations are always the fucking same. So what do? I'm a life and business coach. Oh, cool. What does your husband do? Actually, he doesn't work. He runs the house, he homeschools the kids, and it's an awesome balance for us. Oh, really? You guys homeschool your kids? I've always worried about, like, kids being socially awkward that way. And that's the part where I just want to fucking punch somebody. I'm so glad I'm 34 years old and I've grown to this point, because I'd probably be in prison for punching people that ask me stupid fucking questions like that or make statements like that. How do you stop them from being socially awkward? I don't fucking know. I don't know how you stop them from being socially awkward. Go the fuck outside and play. How do you stop your shy kid from being socially awkward? I have no fucking clue. I don't know the answer to that question. Because I'm me. I parent my kids the way that I do. I get so many compliments, as long as we're not having the homeschool conversation about how respectful they are. Oh my God, I can't believe your son opened the door for you. I can't believe that they do that. Oh, I'll be sitting somewhere eating and they'll come over to my table and be like, are these your boys? And I'm like, it depends. What the fuck did they do? And they're like, I just want to let you know that they were coming out of the bathroom and they saw that I had my hands full and they held the door open for me. Oh yeah, well then they're mine. You know what I mean? Like, sort of conversations, but it's like, that specific thing about, that they're homeschooled, it makes me nuts. It makes me nuts. And it's all walks of life. That's how the conversation goes. That's literally how the conversation goes. I'd love for them to go, ooh, I'd love to know what curriculum you're using. I'd love to know what curriculum you're using. I'm not using it. My husband is. I always say the same thing. My husband does the homeschooling. I make the money. If I did the homeschooling, I would make my kids hate life. And make them hate learning because I'm not patient. He's fucking awesome at it. Yeah. But people, it doesn't matter. I say he works in keeping the house in order, or he homeschools the kids, or whatever. It doesn't matter. So that's the other thing. They'll always say, so what does he do for a living? So they'll re-ask the question. It doesn't really matter how the fuck I verbalize it. It doesn't change anything. I mean, it's all relative, right? Like, he works, he doesn't work, he's a stay-at-home dad, he does, whatever. That part of it is like less important to people, I guess, than like the homeschool part of it. And so I just wanted to do this video because I felt like it's so important, and I'm going to put it on YouTube and tag the fuck out of it. And I hope that every single person who has something to say just shouts it out in the comments, because I am just so frustrated. I'm frustrated with the conversation. I'm fucking frustrated with the battle. Fuck everybody who doesn't like what we do. Fuck everybody who doesn't like how we do it. If my kid is being an asshole, if my kid is being disrespectful, if my kid is tearing shit up, come knock on my door, right? Ask the fucking questions. What's going on in your home life that has you being such a fucking little asshole? Why don't you ask that? But if he's not, and he's being respectful, and you like having him at your house because he does the dishes and all the fucking things, then nothing else matters. The other day I was having a conversation with a few moms, and one of them is a single mom, and I don't know if she'll watch this, but I love her to death. I think she's awesome. And she asked me, she said, how do you get your boys to treat you like that? How do you get your boys to do that? I was like, well, she's like, I'm a single mom and I struggle with that balance. And I said, I don't know anything about being a single mom, so I'm not going to pretend to know how to be a single mom. Okay, so, but this is what I'm going to tell you. I expect my kids to respect the shit out of me. I believe that I was given boys because the men and boys in my life, they cheated on me, they left me, or they died. That's how my track record is with the men in my life. They cheat, they leave, or they die, right? So I thought I was going to have girls and I was just going to raise them to be little bitches, just like me. You know, that was my mission, right? And then I found out both of them were boys. So then my mission changed to make sure that they opened doors for women, that they didn't disrespect women, that they were what the, you know, I don't really like using the phrase that men should be, because I don't know, should is, you know, relative. It's your definition. But I wanted to raise them to be awesome men. My boys, I tell them, like, they're literally 12 and 9. And probably for the last 3 years of both of their lives, I've told them, if I ever find out you cheat on a girl, I will stop talking to you. I don't know for how long, because I think that you can have balls enough to break up with this one before you date that one. You're fucking cute. I'll have you know that. You probably don't know that you're the hot guy at school because you're not in public school, and thank God for that. But you are. You guys are very fucking handsome. The girls will want to talk to you and hang out with you. You have all the things. Just know you don't get to be a fucking asshole. You know, and that's it. And that's my foundation. I just teach my kids how to be awesome men. Are they always awesome men? No. That's when I remind them, no matter how big you get, I will still be able to lay your ass out. And then my 12-year-old says, I know, Mom. That's what he says to me. He's very tall. He's like taller than me. So I said to her, I don't know. I'm a mean mom. That's all I can tell you. I'm a mean mom. I have high standards. And she's like, oh, and I said to her, my kids would probably love living with you. My kids would probably love having you as their mom, because they wouldn't have to do the dishes every day. They wouldn't have to vacuum the house every day. They wouldn't have to dust to my standards. They wouldn't have to clean the fucking toilets. They'd have way more than an hour on the video games a day. They wouldn't have to take care of the animals. They wouldn't have what they have now. So when my son came to me today and he was like, I just want us to have a more normal life like everybody else, I thought he was going to talk about, like, the fact that they have the chores to do and the da-da-da-da-das and the da-da-da-da-das. And I'm glad it was the conversation that we had, because he really was just upset that I wouldn't let him have a girlfriend once we got to the bottom of it, because he's like, at the end of it, because we have lengthy conversations, obviously, he was like, I love our life. And I want you to know, and he's crying, he's like, I want you to know that I love you and that I'm so sorry for disrespecting our life, because I really do love our life and I really appreciate our life and the way that it is. Like, then you just start fucking telling people that. I know that I teach you to be respectful to other people, but you got to start sticking up for what the fuck it is that you have. Because these adults just run around here running their mouth like they feel like it's not a big deal. And then my kids come home and they feel like there's something wrong with them. They start saying phrases like, I need to go to public school because I'm socially awkward. Where the fuck did you hear that? Well, around. No, you didn't hear it around. Where the fuck did you hear that? Well, I was playing with so-and-so, and his mom asked, where we went to school, and da-da-da-da-da. And then it's this conversation, and it's like, it makes me crazy. So I do ask my kids, do you feel like you're socially awkward? Do you feel like you don't know what to say? Do you feel like you don't know how to talk to people? Do you feel like you're the odd man out because you're in a group of kids and you don't, you're not sure what to do? And they're like, no. Mind you, I've watched my children in settings. I've watched my children with other kids. I've paid attention to this fucking shit. Now that I'm here, I always was asked it when we were on a trip. Like, if we were on a cruise or whatever and we'd meet somebody by the pool, I was always asked about the socially awkward thing. And it never really was a big deal because my kids weren't being asked it. It wasn't being embedded in their mind, right? So it was a question and answer, a move on. But now, in this realm, nobody is really talking to me about it. They're going to my child and asking my child, or going to my child and saying it to my child. And so, like, my 9-year-old was crying in my room the other day a couple of nights ago because to him, he's socially awkward. What the fuck? Like, what do you mean, buddy? Why do you say that? It's like, I'm just socially awkward. Where did you, and then I have to go through that. Where did you hear that? Luckily, I pay attention to my kids because the other day we were at a KOA, and hopefully you guys know what a KOA is. But basically, you're camping with amenities. You've got showers, you've got swimming pools, you've got all of this fab saucery while you're camping, right? And there really wasn't very many kids there, or if there were, everybody was like keeping to themselves and hanging out with their families. And then what happened was new kids came, and there was these slides over where we were camping, and it was getting dark. It was probably like 9:30, and both of my kids were over there, and I think there were 3 kids over there, and I could hear almost everything because my kids are really fucking loud, and they were like chatting and oh yeah, yeah, my name's Chad, what's your name? It was like this whole awesome conversation, so much like we would, right? If you guys were talking to me right now instead of typing to me, this would be like back and forth, and we'd be having this like all around conversation, and everybody's chiming in, you know, that like chaos that happens. That's what we would be doing right now, right? And that's what they were doing. And I'm so glad that at that moment I was sitting out by the fire, and I was so glad that I could hear, because as he was standing in my room 2 nights ago crying because he was socially awkward, I could take a real life situation that had just recently happened and say to him, buddy, you are literally life of the party. You're always making everybody laugh. You're always making new friends. You're always connecting with people. You tell me all the time, oh, I met a new friend. Oh, I have a new friend, all over across the country on cruise ships and road trips and KOAs. By the way, we went on a tour for 70 days where my kids stayed in KOAs and hotels, and they had friends all across the country. All across the country. Out of my 2 kids, the one, my 9-year-old is the one that's always asking people for their phone numbers and asking them where they live. So hopefully they live close enough to us where we could hang out. And this kid was like, oh, I live in West Valley. And Stratton's like, ooh, I think that's close to where we live. And it really is. It's like 27 minutes away or something. And so like, he is the one that's doing that, right? And so I find it very odd that, as from what I see, that he can believe that. So he's bawling, his eyes, and they're not like pity me tears, and he doesn't really cry, like ever. His eyes are welled up with tears. My 9-year-old is. And I tell him this story. You were making everybody laugh. You're life of the party. You knew where he lived. You're asking their name. You were so giggly. Like, I wish I could have recorded it. It was so fucking cool how the conversation went and how he connected with them. I just told him, if you're in a room full of people, you're the one making everybody laugh until they do something you don't want to do. And then you're the one going, I don't want to do this. I said, your dad was like that our whole lives, and still some days he acts like that. Everybody's having a fucking blast. We're having a good time. And if somebody's doing something in a way, or somebody asks your dad to do something that he doesn't want to do, generally me, there he is, off pouting because he doesn't want to do something that he's being asked to do, and now he's in a bad mood. Who does that remind you of? You know, I say to him, and he starts laughing, and I'm so glad I was able to give him that, because people are giving my children a complex, and it's adults. Fuck the kids. I mean, that's gonna happen, right? I used to hate being black because of kids, you know, and that's fine. But when I was a kid, if I had adults saying to me that I was caught in a frying pan too long, or calling me the N-word, or adults were quote unquote bullying me, I don't know what the fuck I would have done. You know, what would I have done if my friend's mom was like, so are you adopted? No, I have and like, I have this whole saying, like, literally, it's so fucking weird. But I always have this saying when kids would ask me if I was adopted. No, I have a black dad and a white mom, but my dad died. And then my mom remarried Tom, and so now it just looks like I'm adopted. That was my story. But if I would have had parents that said that, I don't know what I would have done. You know, I don't know how I would have felt. My husband's parents, when we were young, I was trouble. I was going to get him in so much trouble. I was so bad for their Daniel. Well, now we're married, so they're fucked. And I hope they watch this too. So they can hear me say that, But that was okay. I was okay with being bad for their son, as long as there wasn't like titles, right? Things that were added to it. So with my kids hearing this from adults, some adults that they respect, or parents of kids that they respect, it's hard because their feelings are being hurt and they're literally believing from these adults that there's something wrong with them. And it's very bothersome. It's really bothersome. I'm going to have to do something about it. And I'm not one of those parents. You're not going to find me knocking on your door and like advocating for my child. I don't fucking have time for that. Like, I just don't. In my mind, I'm not that kind of mom. I don't have my head shoved up my kids' asses. They don't have their head shoved up mine. It's just not how I roll. I'm not going to go fight your fucking battle for you with your friend that you had a fight with at the fucking park. Figure it out or fight it out. But I don't have time to fuck with you guys, right? But when I have an adult that's giving my children a complex, I don't know what to do. Do you know how bad that sucks? Like, because I'm highly confrontational and I live in the Mormon capital of the world. So of course I'm not going to knock on the door and be the nice neighborly fucking woman. So I have to send my husband because he's the calm, collected, sweet one. I don't know. It's rough. Okay, so I'm going to go back and see what you guys said, because I think it's important. Okay, so that's where I left off at. So Jennifer Amanero came on, but she got caught up. Oh, I thought that you did used to homeschool, Holly. I know, Lisa, Paige, I know that we don't like owe people an explanation, but generally people are asking because they're inquisitive, right? Like, are they socially awkward? And usually if somebody asks that as an inquisitive question and they haven't seen my children, like maybe my kids are like off on the cruise ship playing with other kids and doing whatever, I don't mind like answering the question, but the statement of like, oh, I would just be so concerned that they're socially awkward. It's like, where the fuck did you hear that? Did you read that in a fucking book? I swear to God you did. Yes, Jennifer. They are. They're above their grade level. They do extracurricular activities, which puts them around other kids. Yeah, so our kids are always... My kids get to play one sport a season, except for in the summer, they don't get to play any sports because I want to be able to go camping. I want to be able to go on vacations, and I don't want to have to fucking worry about sports. So they can play in the spring and then the fall, and then they play basketball in the winter. So they play for 3 seasons. They just don't play for the summer. So they're always in one sport each. And I don't let them do more than that because I'm not going to be fucking driving hell and back to all this fucking bullshit, to this practice and pulling myself in a million different directions because you want to do 16 things at one time. So each of them get to do one thing and that's it. And that's how it's always been. They've always been in sports. They've always been around other kids like their whole fucking life. And so, yeah, it's... yeah. And my 9-year-old is extremely ahead. He is close. He can't now because Ronan's math is getting more advanced, my 12-year-old. But up until this last year, my 9-year-olds could do my 12-year-old's math. And because they're in the same room, my 9-year-old's hearing the process of how the math works and sometimes spitting out the answer before my 12-year-old could answer, and it was causing issues. Because my 12-year-old needed to be able to come up with the answer. My 9-year-old would be like, boom, because math is like his thing. He is just a math whiz. And so, like, yeah, and that's the other thing. I think that they would be bored. And we also explain, like, now, based on what they're used to, if they were to go to public school, they got to get up earlier, right? My kids sleep until 9 or 10 o'clock. Yeah. Usually 9 because Alexa goes off at 10 a.m. and they have to do chores. So they must be ready for the day by 10 a.m. because from 10 to 11 they do chores. They don't eat breakfast. All that fucking shit is done. So 10 to 11 is chores. At 11 o'clock they start school. And then about every 45 minutes they get like a 5-minute break to reset and come back. I don't really like that rule, but Daniel needs the break, so what the fuck ever. So that's what they do. And then they get like, I think it's a 35-minute lunch, but they're still done with school between 3 and 3:30. We did our best to explain to them in public school, it's different, right? There's so many more kids in the class, so you're getting up earlier, you're at school all day long. Whatever you didn't get done in school, you must come home and do as homework. But with your little mouthy ass, I would be getting fucking emails from the teacher all the time. And let me just tell you what, if you're in fucking school and you're disrespecting somebody outside my house and embarrassing me, you're going to be in 10 times more in trouble than you are when I hear you disrespecting your dad. So let's not even go there. So this life that you live would be completely different because you would always be in fucking trouble. Just so you know, this is what I'm saying to my 12-year-old today. And he's like scoffing, giggling, and agreeing all at the same time underneath his breath. And again, it's not saying that public school is bad. It's just like, hello, if you're in there, you want to go to public school, your whole fucking life's going to be flipped upside down. Not only do you still have to do all the chores that I make you do every day, but if you fuck up at school, your ass is mine. You'll never play another video game again. I promise you that. You'll always be grounded. Okay, so Jennifer also says met a little girl who was homeschooled at Disney. Her mom is awesome. She is awesome. Her mom and I became friends on Facebook. This kid is amazing. That's awesome. Love hearing that. Yeah, they really are, Holly. They are our biggest investment in our future. And I really like how much of a work ethic my kids have because not my generation, but I guess I'm the millennials. I don't really know where I fit. I was born in 1984, but as it gets younger and younger and younger, the kids don't really want to work, right? They don't really have as much of a work ethic. They just kind of want things handed to them. My 12-year-old will work if he wants to do the work. Okay, so he'll work if he wants to do the work, but if he doesn't want to do the work, then he won't work. My 9-year-old, he wants to start a business and run the business and have business cards and go out there and tell people what to do and lead people and have a team of people who work for him. So he eventually doesn't have to do the work. So he's a little bit more like, he's a lot more entrepreneurial in that mind. And like in my mind, he's the child that will have like that really good business or job, right? And I'm not sure about running. I'm not sure where he falls. Like he'll probably end up working for somebody else because he's not really a self-starter, but I don't really find anything wrong with that. If he works for somebody else, that's his choice. But they are our future, so I do my best. My whole point in telling you that was that I do my best to instill a good work ethic in them. Yes, Lisa Page, I am teaching them to be responsible. And, maybe, there probably might be some jealousy in our lifestyle. I hear that a lot by things that people say or the way that I'm treated. And I talk to my girlfriends and they're like, oh, they're just jealous. But I don't understand if you're jealous about our lifestyle, what does that have to do with my kids' social awkwardness that they don't have? They don't. That's funny. I should probably start saying that. They go to none of your damn business school. Have you heard of it? My grandson didn't talk until he was 7. My daughter had to send the teacher a video to show he could read. I mean, and some of those times, things like that happen. And we got to deal with it the best that we can. But I still don't understand the whole, I don't know. But he was in public school, right? So because he was in public school, even though he was there, it was okay, right? At least he was in public school. Holy fuck. If that 7-year-old would have been homeschooled and not been able to read, that mom would have never heard the fucking end of it. Quote unquote. He could read, but that mom would have never heard the end of it. If you would have put him in public school, he would have been able to read and all that fucking bullshit. Right, Jennifer. And I don't know. I knew it was coming from one source. But my 12-year-old is not usually the person who's being told that he's socially awkward. It's my 9-year-old from that source. So when my 12-year-old said that, I was like, oh my God, now why are you saying it? It's like in the last 2 days, it's like the fucking conversation around our household. I wouldn't allow my kids to be socially awkward. I push them past their boundaries. I push them to grow. Like my whole motto is to think bigger, be bolder, and make no excuses. And I live that way myself every single day. So my kids really don't have a choice not to live that way. You know what I mean? And that's why I just finally told her, you just gotta have bigger balls, stand on your own 2 fucking feet, and just stick up for yourself. You gotta defend your life. If you're proud of it, you can't cry about it. If you're proud of it, don't come home and have a freaking 90-minute conversation with me that you're gonna lose, by the way, about why you should go to public school. Because I've told him before, if you can sell me on the reason why you should go to public school, then I'll put you in public school. But I'm a master debater. He's like, I know. And he's still never been able to convince me. Sarah! You have boys too, and I'm struggling with my almost 7-year-old. He lacks the respect for us. We are working on that, though. I'm just mean. Mean. That's funny too, Denise. Yeah, Lois. Right, Holly, I don't think it was by chance that I was in that place to be able to hear him either, because then I could turn that back around. But it definitely broke my heart to see him crying, feeling like there was something wrong with him. I mean, I think we all have our weaknesses, right? I can look at both of my kids and be like, here's your list of weaknesses that if you don't work on are going to be your trouble your whole life. My other one, here's your list of weaknesses. If you don't work on them, they're going to be your problem your whole life. I can sit down and identify all my weaknesses and know that that's why I've struggled in different areas and why I might continue to struggle. Like, I feel like that's normal, right? Like, there are weaknesses that we have, but I hate that there is a definition by an adult put on the kids. That's what gets me more than anything. And I tell my kids all the time, who is the most fucking honest person that you know? Will tell you where the bear shits, even if you end up crying in the fetal position in the corner. You, Mom. Right. When was the last time I told you were socially awkward? I'll tell you you're being an asshole. I'll tell you I'm not going to fucking put up with your disrespect. I'll tell you if you talk to me like that again, I'm going to lay you the fuck out. That you better knock it off. That I want my fucking house clean. That you're being lazy as fuck and I'm not putting up with it. That you're disrespecting me. That you're going behind my back and I'm not handling that. I tell you I'll disown you if you cheat on a girlfriend. I tell you all of this shit. What makes you think I would not tell you if you were odd? If you were acting weird as fuck, if you couldn't have a conversation, I would literally say to you, if you don't get your shit together, you're never going to have any friends because you act so fucking weird. My 9-year-old, I'll tell him, if you do not learn how to do other things that other people want to do, you're not going to have very many friends. And if you're okay with having a limited number of friends because you're being a jerk or you're being a baby when people don't want to do what you want to do and because you're not compromising, that's your choice. But I want you to know, if you don't learn how to fucking compromise, then you're going to be miserable and alone. I've told him that. Why wouldn't I tell them if they were being awkward? So I asked my son, this is a funny story. I asked him, do you know what the definition of compromising is? Because I was pissed because he was being a brat about something. He goes, yes, it means doing whatever somebody else wants you to do, even if you don't want to do it. I was like, no, it does not mean that. It means coming to a middle ground and an agreement that you guys can both give from each side to find the common ground. Okay. He was all mad about it, but at least I learned his definition of compromising. Let's go down here. Oh, Courtney, did you figure out what pisses me off yet? Jocelyn, did you figure out what pisses me off yet? You homeschool your son, Jocelyn? That's awesome. Thanks, Courtney. Hey, Crystal, her. Your son was late talking. He went to private school, then was homeschooled. My family, friends, and such were assholes to me. My son learned was on the spectrum. He is different. He's freaking awesome. And oh, when he went to college with a 4.0. Fuck him, right? I'm gonna get fucking shirts. Say, homeschool my kids, fuck you. Yeah, don't lie to your mom, your attorney. What did Ronan say to me the other day? Oh, he said it to me today. He said something and he was like, I was pissed off and I was like, let me fucking talk to him. And he was like, they don't want to talk to you. You're a lawyer. But I'm not a lawyer. So I don't, he told me what mom talks to him about what he's doing for school. I'm gonna have to, I kind of thought that just by watching my children, shit would pass. So at first I didn't feel like it was a big deal and something that I need to bring up, but now it's like a year later, things have settled, merging of being away from family and by family and all the things have been brought together. So everything should be done and squashed and over with. So now I'm going to have to start being the bitch and start like putting my foot down because I can't handle it. Well, or sending Daniel to talk to the parents. I'm not really good when there's a problem. So, that's one of my weaknesses. I'm not like the type of person who can stay calm and collected and have a conversation with you when my heart's racing a million miles a minute and I want to punch you in the fucking face. Like, I haven't quite mastered that. I'm not sure I ever will. So, I mean, he's really good at that. He can be irritated with something and stay calm, which is probably why we're married, right? So I'll more than likely have to just have him do it just because my kids have to see, right? Not at school, but at sports and at the skate park and yes, Lois. We do. So I have to, you have to recognize your weaknesses. And one of my weaknesses is that I'm very confrontational. Very confrontational. So it's just not my job. It's not a good idea for me to bring things up to people. If it's my family or something, I feel like I do better because I don't want to be the one in the family that divides everybody up and stops people from talking and causing issues. So I feel like I'm a little bit better about that if it's like family that, there's an issue or whatever, but I can't like, yeah, Courtney, if somebody wants to fight, I'm down. I'm not going to back down from it. Dude wants to freaking touch my girlfriends in the club and act like a freaking, I'm ready to fight, So it's just not good. I always tell people, you'll find me on the 10 o'clock news. So recognize your weaknesses, people. Anyways, that's what fucking pisses me off. I had to get it off my chest. Don't be a fucking asshole. Homeschooled kids aren't socially awkward. Socially awkward people are socially awkward. It could be a million things that make them that way. It's not because they're homeschooled. Homeschooled doesn't mean they're locked in the dungeon like people under the stairs. It just means for the time that your children are at school publicly, for a quarter of that time my kids are at school at home, everything else remains the same. Everything else remains the same. I mean, the same thing could be said for if you're a stay-at-home mom. The same thing could be said, so are your kids socially awkward? Like, that's a fucking stupid question. Why would they be socially awkward? Because I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? When you, like, those of you guys that are stay-at-home moms, I don't think of myself as a stay-at-home mom because I work. I own my businesses. But that's a stupid question, right? You're like, what the fuck? Why would you ask me that? I don't know. Why would you think my kid's socially awkward because they're homeschooled? People like automatically think that they're locked in a basement. They don't get any communication with the outside world. I bet you if we lined up our children, unless we have similar parenting styles, your public school children probably play 3 times as much video games as my homeschool children. Well, in order to play video games, they kind of are at home, right? So that kind of tells you something. Like, I'm very strict. My kids have to earn their video game time. We have like a clip system and they have to pay in these clips for the time that they want to play. If they don't do their chores right, they have to pay us in clips. You know what I mean? So I'm very like rigorous. Their process. They have to go outside and get fucking sun on their ass because in the winter it's cold as fuck. So in the winter they play a little bit more, they're, on the video games more because it's dark at 4:42. But truth be told, I mean, we run a really tight ship around here. I'm not saying that's the same for every homeschool parent. And I don't really give a shit if your kids play video games more often than mine do. I don't think that there's anything wrong with your kids. That's just our parenting style. Back to the whole point of why I'm so fucking pissed. But thank you for listening to me. I feel a little bit better. I do. I feel like I can now go on with my night of feeling like shit. No, my meds kicked in, so that's good. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to me and talking to me and helping me feel better. This is like my therapy because I was going to do like a typed post about it, but I just felt like I needed to talk and get it off my chest because it's been happening for a long time and I'm just over it. You were, Jocelyn. I went to public school too. Like, whatever. Yeah. Oh, see, and I need to let my kids do like video YouTube stuff. I'm like, I just want you off the fucking iPad. I want you off the fucking iPad. I'm gonna throw it in the garbage. But Gary Vee says, if your kids want to be a YouTube star, don't stop them from doing that. Can they be a YouTube star not on YouTube? Just kidding. Oh, okay. I'm done. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna eat my fucking grapes. Maybe I'm like high and right because I'm eating healthier food. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. This is just something that's so frustrating to me. Please pass this on. Please share it with people. I know it was long as fuck, but there was so much badassery in this. And if you were one of the people who used to think of homeschooling like that, maybe I shed some light, for you to take away that ignorance. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the only way that I can put it. If you are a homeschooling parent and you want people to hear this message, you can always share it on your profile, and maybe those assholes will listen to it. And I don't even know if they're assholes. That's the other thing. In my heart of hearts, I don't believe that people are doing it to be dicks. I don't. My husband has taught me to believe in the greater good of people. I would, the old version of me would have been like, they were just doing it to be assholes. But he's taught me to see the good side of it before you think of the bad, and so I don't think they're doing it to be assholes. I really just feel like they're ignorant to it, and so that's why they are asking, and that's okay. But I don't know how to stop people from asking my kids questions like that. And then in the same breath, I think back and I'm like, I would never go back in my life and undo the bullying. I would never go back and take that away because it gave me the strength to make me who I am today. So I don't even know if them asking these questions and having them feel so bad and having them believe that there's something that they're not is bad, because maybe this is helping them step into their power and be able to stick up for themselves and say, no, I love my life. I love how things are. I have a ton of friends. I meet, like Ronan was saying, I meet 2 new friends I meet new friends every couple of days, he says. Like, well, that wouldn't happen in school. You don't meet new people every couple of days in school. Eventually, the people that you know, and you don't talk to the people you don't talk to. That's just kind of how it all works out. And then Daniel was saying and then once you know the people, you go through life with them. Unless your parents move or new people move in, you go through life with those people. You end up elementary school to junior high to high school. And so for the most part, your crew stays pretty consistent, even with that. So I was like, oh my God, that's a good point. So anyways, I don't know if it's bad, at the end of this. I was so upset at the beginning, when I was talking to you guys, hey, Heather, that now I'm wondering, is it that bad? Maybe it's something that really is going to help them be able to step into their power as they get older. And this is the thing. This is that point in their life where they'll be able to remember that conversation they had with me and remember the way that they felt, and that it was the point that they started to learn to stick up for themselves. And I was telling my 12-year-old this today, my conversation like this was with my dad was because I didn't want to be black anymore. I wanted to be white. Like, that was my thing. That was my turning point. And I was so upset because I had been bullied and been teased. And so my point in my life was right before he died. He said to me, you never let anybody make you feel bad for who you are. And from that moment forward, that was the foundation for me growing into the person that I am today and being able to live unapologetically authentic. It's taken a lot to get me here, but that was that point. And I was 12 years old and now I'm 34. So it took me 22 years. And so I even said to him, maybe this is your foundation of realizing that you need to stick up for yourself and not feeling bad for your life and being proud of your life and what you have. So I don't know. I digress. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have questions about homeschooling, I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask Daniel. But for the most part, Daniel and I work on their schedule and the flow and how they're doing stuff. We work on all of that together. I buy the curriculum from sunlight.com. Again, that's sonlight.com. It's a Christian-based curriculum, and it's really, really awesome. Everything's laid out for you in there. There's a teacher's guide in there. No, I'm not getting paid to plug them. When we were stressed out homeschooling parents doing a whole bunch of different curriculums that were making our life fucking crazy, somebody took the time to share Sunlight with me. So I'm just sharing it with you guys. Literally 4.5 hours a day, 4 days a week is what my kids go to school. And they usually go from October to May, taking all of the school days off that all the other kids that are in school are off, because my nephews live close, so they'll like come over and hang out and stuff. So our kids are off those days. They take off the time that we go on vacations, and they're still usually, my 9-year-old's done March, April, and my 12-year-old's done like May, sometimes the beginning of June. Just depends on how much he's dicked around during the school year. But yeah. So I hope that helped you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.